Hey guys, it's Carly, and I am finally back with another video. The reason I haven't uploaded in about a month is because I actually went on vacation for a week to the beach, and then I got back and work was just kind of busy and it was kind of overwhelming to get back in the swing of things, so I didn't really feel like making a video that week either, so I kind of just took a break from YouTube and things like that and didn't really watch too many movies or anything. But with that being said, I am back and I hope to start uploading again regularly. I figured for my first video I'll do another what I watched episode because it's been a while. And I'm not going to be doing an update video for the month of, I guess it would be June, because I didn't have too much for one thing, and another thing, too much time has passed. It's almost August now, so I figured I'd just wait for things to kind of build up and do a bigger update and make things more exciting, because it's not really fun when you only have like 3 movies anyway. But anyway, I did watch a good amount of things here. I've watched other stuff too, but some of it I'm just not going to talk about, because I'll either talk about it on my podcast or just in videos that I make with my buddy and stuff like that. So I'm not going to talk about those, but stuff I do have here I'll talk about. And first up, I have this horror collection, which is Charles Band movies. Mainly the Puppet Master films are targeted in this. I said I was going to do a video where I talk about each one of these movies, but it's been quite a while since I watched them at this point, so I don't really remember too many details about them, so I can't really say too much, but I'll just give my brief opinions. For the Puppet Master movies, it's got part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and 8 and 9, which is The Legacy and Axis of Evil. Unfortunately, for some reason, this disc was scratched or something, and those 2 movies would not play, so I didn't get to those ones, which is a shame because I did want to kind of at least finish off this whole collection, but I only got to watch 15 out of the 17 movies. But anyway, the Puppet Master movies I did not think were too bad at all. For what they were, low budget films, I thought they were pretty entertaining. It's kind of annoying how the storyline doesn't really make sense, and they all kind of just make up their own storyline, and then like maybe one movie will follow that storyline and then another one will take place years and years before that. But for the most part, I liked almost all of them. I didn't really care for Retro Puppet Master because I hate movies that take place long ago and things like that, and I don't think I liked Curse of the Puppet Master too much either. I know that's one that people probably do like because probably one of the better, well-made ones, but for me the storyline was kind of a little too cheesy, even though they're all cheesy, but this one was just more of a love story, and that's not really for me. But all in all, the Puppet Master movies aren't too bad. And then you get to Killjoy. There's 3 of the Killjoy movies on here. Part 1 is obviously one of the worst movies ever made, but I still found it to be entertaining and kind of funny, so I can't really hate on it too much. I know I gave it a low rating. I think I gave it like a 2.5 out of 10 or something, but I mean, it's still entertaining, so I can't really complain. I wasn't bored. And then Killjoy Part 2 is a little bit better than Part 1. Still pretty terrible. Clown is pretty annoying, but once again, I found this one to be entertaining, and I did like it a little better than Part 1. And then Killjoy 3, it's funny because that's like the best one out of these 3. It's like well made, and it was made years later, and I actually didn't like it too much, I think because it was too serious compared to the other 2, and I didn't really like the clown's like girlfriend character. I thought she was just way too annoying, and I didn't like the look of Killjoy too much either, so for me I just did not care for this one. It's obviously much better made than the other movies, but I just could not get into it. And then you have on here movies like Doll Graveyard, Sideshow, Demonic Toys 2, Dangerous Worry Dolls, and then When Puppets and Dolls Attack, which isn't really a movie, it's more of just clips from all the other movies for some reason. And yeah, these movies, all in all, weren't too bad either. They're low budget, kind of bad acting and things like that, but I really enjoyed Dangerous Worry Dolls and Sideshow, and then Doll Graveyard was pretty cool, and Demonic Toys 2 is awful. I don't even know what was going on in that movie. It was definitely the worst one in this entire pack, because at least Killjoy has some entertainment value, but all in all, this pack's not too bad if you want to get into these Charles Band movies, these, like, you know, the lower budget, low quality ones in the collection. So I am glad I picked it up and finally got familiar with the Puppet Master movies. But anyway, that's enough with that. Get into some other random movies that I've watched. First up, we have Children of the Corn Genesis. I believe this is part 8 in the Children of the Corn franchise, and I've only seen part 1, 2, and 3, and the remake, and now this, so obviously I'm not really watching these in any order, and I know it really doesn't matter. It's kind of like, I think like the later ones are kind of like the Hellraiser franchise, where none of them really have to do with Children of the Corn. It's just a movie with the title, and that's exactly what this is. However, I did enjoy this. I thought it was a really good horror movie. Like, if you gave it another title, it would have been like just another horror movie with, it was just had a cool setting and plot, and I thought the acting was pretty good in it. So I think this is a good movie. It's definitely not a Children of the Corn movie at all, but it was good for what it was, so I did enjoy this one. I forgot to pull up my ratings, by the way, so that's why I'm not really rating these, but I'll just say if I like them or don't like them. And then next up, we have The Scare House. This is another one I got in the horror pack, and I absolutely love this movie. I think it's a brand new movie, maybe. I think it's yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't see the year on here, but anyway, this is a very good movie. It's set like on Halloween. It doesn't feel like a Halloween themed movie, really. It just feels like a revenge flick, which it is. So, but basically they have like a haunted house attraction. These two girls make it, and then they use it to plot revenge on some other sorority girls who did them wrong about, I think, 2 years beforehand. And yeah, I highly recommend this movie. It was really well done, well acted, and pretty brutal. So yeah, I liked The Scare House. And then next up we have Deathgasm, and I had heard a lot of good things about this film. I think it's a 2015 release. And when I was watching it, I will say I was falling asleep during it, like literally couldn't keep my eyes open. And it's not because of the movie, it was just because I was tired, and it was really poor timing to throw this in because I was so tired. But I definitely have to watch this one because I did not care for it at all while I was watching it, and that has to do with the fact that I was barely paying attention. So can't really say much about Deathgasm. I don't want to give any false opinions on it if it actually is a good movie, because to me it wasn't at the time, but I know a lot of people like it, so I'm not going to say much on that one. And then next up, I forget why I watched this. I think I was just bored one day and wanted to watch an older movie, but I watched the original Friday the 13th, and you know, I do like the original Friday the 13th. I like the first 3 quite a lot. I like pretty much all the movies in the franchise, but I do, like, a lot of people don't like part 1 and think it's not that great, and like not a lot really happens. All it did was really create the franchise, but to me it's a solid movie. I grew up watching this one, and that dream sequence at the end was one of the scariest things I saw as a child because I was not expecting it. It was something that was a total surprise to me. Like, my mom and dad, like, they didn't warn me it was coming up, so I really do hold this one close to my heart. It's one that reminds me of my childhood, so I enjoy part 1. I think it's a good movie. And then, actually, next up, I watched Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, because I had just bought it at a Big Lots, I believe. This was like one of the only ones I did not own for whatever reason. I just was always too lazy to pick it up, or I wanted to pick up movies I had never seen before, and I knew I'd seen this a million times on TV, but I decided to complete that collection. I'm still missing 2 movies, but for the most part my collection is complete, so I bought this, and I figured why not pop it in and watch it. And I gotta say, I do not care for this one too much at all. Like, I used to think it was really good, but on rewatch recently, I just did not care for it. I don't really like the, you know, doctor, mom, and daughter thing in the woods. Like, I just think that story is kind of lame, I guess. I mean, Jason obviously looks the best in this film, the zombie Jason anyway, but besides that, I'm just not a big fan of the story, so still an alright movie though. I'll rewatch it. And then up next we have Killer Pinata. This is another horror pack one I got, and I was actually really enjoying this movie. I thought it was funny and cheesy. Like, these movies are hit or miss for me, these goofy ones. I just don't really have fun with movies like these a lot, but to me, like, it was pretty hilarious, and like the plot was stupid, and like, you know, I knew it was going to be stupid, so I didn't go in expecting too much, and I was not disappointed. I did like this movie. I would recommend it to people who just want to sit back and have fun with a horror movie, not take things too seriously. So yeah, Killer Pinata. Then after that is another pretty fun one. It was another horror comedy, and that is Night of Something Strange. I wasn't sure what kind of movie this was, to be honest. I didn't even know it was like comedic, had comedy aspects to it, so I was kind of surprised by that. And at first I wasn't really into it, but as it went on, I actually had a lot of fun with this one, and I like this one too. I would also recommend this one to anyone who's just looking for a fun time with a film. So yeah, this one's pretty good. It's got really bad effects, if I remember. Yeah, I think it's this one. It had pretty bad effects, but that's okay. It was just a cheesy film. Then after that, I didn't realize how many movies I had here. Wow. We have Dark Harvest and then Escapes at the bottom. This was given to me by JP, and Dark Harvest is a shot-on-video film. I had never seen a shot-on-video film. I didn't really understand what it was, but now I see what it is, and I do appreciate it. Like, this is, you could tell, like, it's a bad quality movie, basically, because it looks like something that, like, your mom would shoot a video of you when you're little, but it had pretty solid acting in it, to be honest. There was only one actor who really kind of sucked, and I mean, like, I had fun with it. It wasn't too bad at all. Like, I give them props for trying to go out and make their own movie. And then after that, there's another film on here with Vincent Price, and that is called Escapes, and that's kind of like, I don't know if you call it an anthology. There's no, like, big wraparound story with the stories. It's just a bunch of, like, creepy little shorts, and it's like a guy watching a VHS of the movie. So, but anyway, like, I thought it was pretty, like, the shorts were actually pretty creepy, some of them. Like, some of them I didn't really love or anything, but some of them I did think were pretty good. So yeah, I'd check this one out too. I'd recommend it to people. It's not too bad at all. And then next up we have Stakeland. I just watched this one like the other night, and a lot of people say how great this film is. And for me, these like survival like movies where the world's kind of falling apart and being taken over by like either zombies or in this case vampires, these types of movies don't really appeal to me too much. I don't know, I've never been a big fan of them. Like, I find them to be a little bit too depressing for my liking. I like depressing movies too, but sometimes I just have to be in the mood for them, I guess. And I mean, with that being said, it's a great movie. Some great actors. It's got like Danielle Harris in it. So I would check it out if you're into these types of movies. But for me, like, I'm just not a big fan. Like, I do say it's a pretty good movie, but for me, I just don't like these. I don't really care for these movies. But I know a lot of people really love this movie and think it was one of the best in the past, like, couple years. It came out in 2010, I believe. And then next up, coincidentally, we have another Friday the 13th movie. I didn't realize I watched so many of these in a row like this, but I guess I did. And anyway, Friday the 13th, Part 3, I chose to watch this the other night because I was running low on movies to watch on my To-Watch-Pal, and I'd actually fallen asleep and woke up at like 2 a.m. and thought like, hey, I might as well watch like an older movie that I don't really have to pay much attention to because I already know what it's about. And I hadn't seen this one in years, actually. Like, I've had this DVD in my collection before I even really started collecting. And I actually like part 3 quite a bit. I think Jason's pretty creepy in it because he like runs after people, and something about the fact that he's not a zombie makes him scarier to me. And I don't know, I just really have a soft spot for this one. I know some people will like roll their eyes at it and like think like, oh, it's not the greatest just because he gets his mask. To me, it's not really about the mask, it's just the movie itself. I don't know, this is another one I grew up watching, so I enjoy this one for what it is. And then winding down, we have Hatchet. I watched this the same night I watched that. I was up like all night basically, and I watched Hatchet for the first time just last year. Like all 3 of the movies were first time watches for me, and I enjoyed them at the time. Part 1, I think like I didn't pay as much attention to as the other 2, so I figured why not give it a rewatch, and I really enjoyed it once again. I think it's got good gore, good comedy moments, and it's a short movie. It's only like 84 minutes, so I really appreciate that. Like, this is definitely like a movie that I could rewatch a lot of times, as well as the sequels, so this is a good one to have in the collection. And then finally, for this video is almost 20 minutes, sorry guys, but we have Galaxy of Horrors. I just watched this one last night, and I have to say I did not really care for this one too much at all. Like, anything to do with space, like, I hate it. It seems like, besides, like, with the exception of, like, Alien, that movie's not too bad, but even that, like, I'm not in love with. I wouldn't go watch that one a million times again. I don't know, it just kind of bores me, and I have trouble paying attention to sci-fi movies. I get confused and don't understand certain things going on, and this is basically like a bunch of shorts taking place in space, or they have to do with like sci-fi elements, and they're made by different people. Like, they're like short movies made by a bunch of different directors and things like that, I believe. And I think I only like 3 out of it, and there's like 8 shorts total, so yeah, I didn't really care for it. I haven't heard much about this movie either. I know it's a newer one, and I know people have talked about it, but I'm not sure what they've said about it, really. I haven't, like, heard any podcast or read anything, so I didn't really know if it was a great one or not. But for me, it really wasn't. It just wasn't my type of movie, so some people might like it, though. But anyway, guys, thank you for joining me for this very long update video. Like I said, I'm going to get back into making videos, and I'm not going to have a horror pack video this month, unfortunately, as well, because I had a problem with my debit card not coming in time, and then, like, my payment didn't go through, so unfortunately I can't get it, but I'll hopefully be getting it again for the month of August, and look forward to that, because I did like most of the movies that were in the horror pack, so I do recommend that to people, once again, who are just starting to collect and want to get more Blu-rays or DVDs in their collection, because it's not a bad price. So yeah, anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.